The next speaker is an economist, and he's running for the Barbados Labour Party in Christchurch, East Central. And he has the task of removing Harry Boss. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium tonight, Mr. Ryan Straughn.
Good night, Weston. How you feeling? Let me take this off, man. I bring you greetings from Christchurch, East Central. Next Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a very important day in this country. And I hope and I pray that you and your families, you all go early to vote for Eddie Hinkson. And I want you to encourage everybody in the neighborhood to go and vote for Eddie Hinkson. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the future of this country, Barbados, is at stake. The livelihoods of your families are at stake. The livelihoods of the fishermen and the fisher folk in communities at Weston, there too are at stake. And I know that many of you tonight have endured the last 10 years of pain and suffering. But I want you tonight to understand that the Barbados Labour Party is a serious institution. You know that. That's why you're here. And last Thursday night we launched our manifesto in my constituency of Christchurch East Central. And many of you would have read or heard a lot of the discussion as it relates to our manifesto. But you all know St. James North, that whenever the Barbados Labour Party is given the opportunity to administer the affairs of this country, that our manifesto, ladies and gentlemen, is turned into policy, and those policies are turned into performance, and that the lives of every single Barbadian is improved whenever the Barbados Labour Party is in power. That is a fact. It is not alternative. It is not fake news. It is a fact. And you know what progress looks like. You know what progress feels like. And so it is interesting that since the Democratic Labour Party launched its campaign, their slogan, as you've seen on their posters, is progress. And I ask myself, somebody clearly does not understand the definition of progress. So I want just to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, what progress actually means. You know what it looks like, you know what it feels like, but I just want to remind you. All right? Just want to remind you. Simple example. In 2008, when the Barbados Labour Party handed the reins of government to this Democratic Labour Party government because it was the will of the people, the Sanitation Service Authority had 67 garbage trucks in operation in this country. 67. Now, obviously, we didn't buy all of those trucks at the same time, but there were 67 working garbage trucks in this country. Now, it takes 35 garbage trucks to collect all the garbage in Barbados on a daily basis. 35. So we had 67, but we only needed 35. And for the better part of the last year, ladies and gentlemen, there have only been 3 or 4 garbage trucks in operation in Barbados on a daily basis. So I ask you, the people of Weston and the neighboring communities, is that progress? Many of you tonight had the most savings in your bank account or in the credit union in 2008. How many of you here tonight have the same level of savings in your bank account? Many of you could put money on the bank or the credit union and forgot about it. How many of you tonight can do the same? Ladies and gentlemen, that is not progress. But as I said, these guys seem to have a problem with reality. Because tonight they are launching their manifesto somewhere down in town, or no, Oysters actually. It's Oysters. It's Oysters. My apologies. They're launching a manifesto in Oysters tonight. And that manifesto bears absolutely no reality to the situation in Barbados as we see it today. It does not lay out in any specific way how it is going to move this country forward. But you know what is the history of the Democratic Party manifestos. Because in 2008, they promised the people of this country and certainly public servants all manna from heaven. The policemen that I see over there were supposed to get some duty-free jobs. Public servants. Yeah? The only body to the best of my knowledge that got a duty-free car was Sandals. Certainly not the people that voted got duty-free cars. Now the public servants of this country, including the police, who work hard every day, under the Barbados Party government receive salary increases every 3 years, ladies and gentlemen, in this country, under the last Barbados and Labour Party administration. That is a fact. But that don't happen by accident. And now it is 10 years, ladies and gentlemen, and not a single public servant, not a single teacher, not a maid, not a schoolmeals worker, not a policeman, not a fireman, nobody within the public service has received have received a salary increase. But once everything in Barbados has gone up significantly in the last 10 years, the Democratic Party will have you believe that you have made progress and that this country has moved forward and that somehow or the other Barbados is firing on all cylinders. But we all know better, ladies and gentlemen. And on May 24th, you and the rest of Barbados will wake up bright and early and make sure that we end this nightmare that is the Democratic Labour Party. Because the very future of your family, the very future of this country is at stake. The Barbados Labour Party has put a set of policies in this manifesto. Good night, Eddie. Welcome, sir. A set of policies in this manifesto that are fit for purpose, that will help ordinary families in this country to be able to cope. Because after 10 long, hard, arduous years of Democratic Labour Party in government, the people of this country deserve to be able to breathe a sigh of relief. And I want each and every one of you to wake up next Friday morning knowing that there's a new hope in this country and that there's new leadership in this country and that you've elected a government that intends to make sure that the ordinary person in this country know and believe and trust that their government are making decisions on their behalf. That they're making decisions in your interests. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this Democratic Labour Party has failed all of Barbados, not just the Barbados Labour Party, all of Barbados. To the point where young people in this country no longer believe that Barbados is worth fighting for. And that is why the Barbados Labour Party has a tremendous task of rebuilding the trust and faith in this country. And so it will take a lot of engagement, a lot of hard work and implementation of these policies. Because I know that by the end of this year, ladies and gentlemen, Barbados shall look a completely different place than it was before. Because as I told you, ladies and gentlemen, we never had a garbage problem in Barbados before. But tonight, after 10 years of Democratic Labour Party government, something that's been so basic, something that requires no analytical prowess, has become so difficult that this Democratic Labour Party simply cannot execute. But I want each and every one of you tonight, within earshot of my voice, to know that when you vote for Eddie Hinkson on May 24th, you are voting for Mayor Motley to be next Prime Minister of Barbados. Because this country now deserves clear, decisive leadership. And under Miss Motley, ladies and gentlemen, Barbados shall be renewed. Your faith in your government and its institutions shall be renewed. Because you now must make sure that you hold this government and any government going forward accountable to the people. Because we must commit to each other that we shall never ever allow anything like this to ever happen in Barbados again. So it don't matter whether you like Eddie or you don't like Eddie. It don't matter whether you like me or you don't like me, or Mia or you don't like she. You, the people, must hold the government to account. Because it is important that we demonstrate to the young people of this country that we, the adults, are making decisions on their behalf. And I am very confident, ladies and gentlemen, that the policies outlined in this manifesto are the right mix of policies, because we have listened to the people. And as we have listened to the people to understand how the last 10 years would have impacted you. And so therefore, when we brought this suite of policies for discussion, those discussions were robust. Every member of the parliamentary party had an opportunity to discuss the policies contained in here. And the varying interests of communities in Weston and St. James North and the rest of Barbados were represented adequately by each candidate of the Barbados Labour Party. Because we would have done the canvassing in our different constituencies, whilst we were also doing the consultations with the many stakeholders across this country. And one thing that we all know is that Barbados want to end this nightmare. Barbados want to wake up from this nightmare. And people in this country want to get out of this mess. Because big men and women in Weston and St. James North don't want to feel as though they can't support the family. Because you know what it was like to be able to take care of your family and pay your bills and still have a little something set aside to enjoy life. And that's why I said to you earlier that you know what progress feels like. You know what progress looks like. Because the policies of the Barbados Labour Party has always, ladies and gentlemen, delivered a better life for all of our people. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a clear choice on May 24th. Clear choice. And that choice is Eddie Hinkson. Because Eddie Hinkson is a man who's been associated with charity in this country. And I want to make this point, as I've been making this point consistently on the platforms, and I shall repeat it because it is worthy of your consciousness. Last year, as I shall remind you, which you know, the government of Barbados went to Parliament to increase salaries for ministers and MPs by 10%. You remember that? You remember that? And the government ministers argued vociferously as to why they deserve to get their 10% increase and back pay. Whilst the average police officer, the nurse, school meals worker, the government guard ain't get a cent in increase. But the Barbados Labour Party's parliamentary party group, which includes Eddie Hinkson, and incidentally, they're the least paid members of parliament because they're in opposition. But Eddie Hinkson and the rest of the Barbados Labour Party team determined that on principle, and that's principle with an L-E, on principle, that they could not take that money when the rest of the public service, and certainly the rest of Barbados, did not get a salary increase in 10 years. So I want you to understand the kind of person that Eddie is, the principles that the Barbados Labour Party stands for, and how those principles will translate into government, so that you know that when you go to the polls next Thursday morning, bright and early, and you put your X next to Eddie Hinkson, you know the kind of leader that you are getting. The kind of leader who will not put himself before the people that elected him. Because the Barbados Labour Party members of Parliament donated those monies, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like the fellas can do with the money, you know. Because as I said, they're the lowest paid members of Parliament. But they determined that the less fortunate in this country should get that money. And so I am proud to associate myself with people like Eddie Hinkson. And I want you to tell everybody that you come across that particular story, because it demonstrates the difference between the Barbados Labour Party and the Democratic Labour Party. So that when people go to the polls next Thursday, they understand the kind of choice that they have to make. Because when things are tough, the leaders must hold your hand a little tighter to give you that reassurance that they're in it with you. And that when decisions are to be made, that they're not just going to throw you under the bus or through the bus, as Danny said earlier. Because I just can't believe that. But with the Democratic Labour Party, anything is possible. Because if you or I had a hole in our car and the police stop us with a hole in our car, we would probably get locked up. We would probably, I don't know if there's a specific law for that, but somebody should get locked up for that. Because you cannot put people's lives at risk like that. So, anyhow, somebody should get locked up for that. But the point I'm making is that I know that no Barbados Labour Party member of Parliament or minister would allow something like that to happen in this country. It is too easy to weld a piece of metal over that thing to provide public safety. It is too easy. It is too easy. And if that doesn't demonstrate that these fellas don't care about you or me, they take the money, whilst the Barbados Labour Party put those monies or donated those monies to a number of charities in this country. The Diabetes Foundation, the HIV Commission, the Salvation Army, and many more. And so I'm happy to be here tonight to fully endorse Eddie Hinkson to be the next duly elected Member of Parliament for St. James North. Because that is the kind of leadership that this country deserves. The members of the Barbados Labour Party have demonstrated, ladies and gentlemen, what leadership looks like. And all that is required for each and every one of you to do over the next 7 days is to work hard, mobilize behind Eddie, make sure that you encourage every single person, whether it's in James North, between now and election day, wherever you go in Barbados. You tell the people of this country what is the difference between the Barbados Labour Party and the Democratic Labour Party. Because these fellas don't care about me, they don't care about you, they don't care about your family, your children, nothing. They care about themselves and the money that they can put in their pockets. Ladies and gentlemen, Barbados is at a crossroad. And this manifesto of the Barbados Labour Party is the blueprint, ladies and gentlemen. The blueprint that you can be assured that this country, its economy will recover. Because the track record of the Barbados Labour Party is second to none when it comes to the economic management of this country. Second to none. You feel it. You feel it and you see it. You can even touch it. And so the next 7 days is going to be important. Very, very important. And I want each and every one of you to believe and understand that this Barbados Labour Party is focused. We are ready and we are prepared under the leadership of Mayor Amor Motley to lead this country to a better future. Our motto has always been, ladies and gentlemen, to deliver a better life for all of our people. And that we shall do again. But we now must make sure that each and every one of you are able to take advantage of any opportunity that presents itself. And this manifesto has taken all of that into consideration. And so therefore, ladies and gentlemen, when the time comes next Thursday morning, we must mobilize this country over the next 7 days to make sure that the Barbados Labour Party and Eddie Hinkson is elected to the House of Assembly. But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, we must now mobilize this country for the mission of our lifetimes. Because the very essence and the very future of this country is at stake. We are not here to curse nobody. We are here to discuss the issues that affect you and your family and their lives on an everyday basis. We shall take responsibility for the situation, ladies and gentlemen, and we shall fix it. And when we fix it, ladies and gentlemen, you will start to feel and touch what real progress looks like. Not progress on paper, progress in reality. And so therefore, ladies and gentlemen, fear not. Fear not. We have 7 days to go. 7 days. So all I ask you to do is to remain focused and be ready. Bright and early on Thursday morning, I want you to go to the polls and I want you to put your ex, Edmund Hinkson. I want you to tell all your friends and family all across Barbados to put their ex next to the Barbados Labour Party candidate wherever they live. Because the Barbados Labour Party is the only institution that is capable of managing the affairs of this country. And ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake about it. Barbados is worth fighting for. The Barbados Labour Party shall fight for Barbados. The Barbados Labour Party will ensure that Barbadians are respected again. So that our pride and industry actually means something as part of our national motto. But it will take hard work, ladies and gentlemen, not just over the next 7 days, but hard work from your government, acting on your behalf, in your interests, so that people in Weston and St. James North and the rest of Barbados will feel a sense of pride that their government, that the institutions of government are working, and that somebody's taking the responsibility for fixing the problems that exist in Barbados. And as I say to you, you must hold all governments accountable. You must hold all governments accountable. Because without that accountability, this foolishness will persist. And we must commit to ourselves that we will not allow this to ever happen again within our lifetime. We must. Because the very future, I see a little girl here, probably about 6 or 7. In 20 years' time, that little girl must be able to look back and say that the people of Barbados made the best decision in her interests. And that she'll be able to tell the story of how the people of this country dealt with the worst government ever to be elected in the history of Barbados. And that she will feel proud to know that big men and big women of this country stood up for her and her generation's interests. And that we would have given to her a better Barbados than we found today. Because that is progress. Because her generation, over the next 30 years, will be the generation to carry Barbados forward. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as I close tonight, you know what the choice is on May 24th. I want you to spread the word far and wide across the north in Barbados. Because certainly the Democratic Labour Party has forgotten that there's a northern part of Barbados. And because they've forgotten there's a northern part of Barbados, you must deal with them next Thursday. Next Thursday. I'm not even going to mention the structure across the street. I'll leave that for somebody else to do. But that is a disgrace.
Of course.
It's a disgrace.
It's
a disgrace. Disgrace.
First time I ever seen man so much as no.
Ladies and gentlemen, the future is indeed bright. Despite the mess, beautiful. Despite the mess that the Democratic Labour Party currently has this country in, there are opportunities for every single Barbadian to participate. And the Barbados Labour Party intends to make sure that you and your families, and especially these youngsters here, that they are given every opportunity to be able to express themselves with confidence and to be able to compete globally. But we shall put the framework in place, the building blocks, to make sure that they can be anything that they want to be. And so therefore, we the adults now must be adults. The big men and the big women in this country must take responsibility next Thursday and vote for Eddie Hinkson, vote for the Barbados Labour Party, vote for Mayor Motley to be the next Prime Minister of Barbados. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, God bless you, and good night.